Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Will. I'm joined by my co-host over here, the Greeze. Say hello, Greeze.
Will made me put my face on, and this looks real different.
All I'll say is that your face has changed.
You've got a little country.
So much grayer over the last 2 months.
It has.
You know.
Yeah, it's shining.
But we are at Chase Steely's house. We are in, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube right now, this is not the Nook. The Nook, Grease didn't all of a sudden find literature and decide to get rid of all his whiskey bottles. But
I mean, I could find literature.
I just can't read it.
Why would I
Yeah.
own something that I don't like?
That's fair. That's fair. Well, we are over at Chase Steely's house. If you're listening, you'll hear him. Say hello, Chase.
How y'all doing?
I love when Chase's voice comes through.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. What we are deciding to do tonight is we're going to get together and talk about bourbon spaces or you know, some people call them like third spaces. It's like not your bedroom or your living room, like a place you go, you relax, you unwind. And Chase has one of the most magnificent library / whiskey room / TV room that I've ever seen.
Yeah, and our cameras aren't even capturing. It's
Right.
like
Yeah, it's not even the whole
that
thing.
way and that way and that way, you know, like four walls.
But this is something, Chase, we've wanted to do for quite a while since you built this, which 98% of it you probably did in here. Is that a fair estimate?
Yep. Yeah, I would say so. Lots of ibuprofen and 4-letter words.
I did help with these shelves.
Yes, you did.
I came over one afternoon and helped Chase cut the shelves down to the right size.
Yeah, it was, we were covered in sawdust.
Yeah.
Like we worked at the mill. I was so grateful for his big man muscles because we had to carry up these huge sheets of wood up here to my workshop and then run through my makeshift table saw table. Without them, I mean, stuff wouldn't have been as straight. I can tell you that.
Yes, yeah,
It'd been square-ish.
There were quite a few times where I was like, I kind of helped on that one. It started to swerve a little bit towards the end, but they turned out looking beautiful.
Yeah.
So
It's great in here. And then he's got this like brick that it's like this thick. It's like not full on brick. And they go on like tile.
yeah, it's like a
incredible.
brick veneer.
I
is probably the
know,
way
but
to
it's
say
like legit. It looks like
because if he put a brick wall on the interior, that would eat up square footage and be harmful for the resale value.
100%.
And I feel like it might be heavy.
Yeah.
Like I would have to get an engineer or something.
Right, to like make sure that the support on the second level is load bearing enough to support.
They don't build
already-
these new houses like they used to.
That's right.
I'm already like baffled that sheetrock holds up that stuff.
Well, there's a lot of things that baffle you.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, one thing I did want to do, because this is, it goes back to our resolutions a little bit too, because we did those, that episode a couple weeks ago, that we talked about some things we want to do. One thing is kind of get together with people and have more bottle shares, things that we, in the last year, which was busy and had a lot of things going on, we neglected to do. So this is kind of a good way to show our good college try at a resolution is hanging out with Chase and using it as an excuse to record an episode and also hang out in his room. But he came over with Dan and Cam, and we did the rhetoric lineup at my house one night. But he left something that I gave him there that night. So I finally am delivering.
Yes.
So these are, for those of you watching.
Well, that rhetoric lineup was
That was a great night.
made me forget my brain.
Right. There's a reason that you left these at the house, but these are Rebel Yell 100 minis before they dropped the Yell. And Chase is you can pass these down.
I'm a big Yale fan.
He's a big Yell fan. He
looks yellowish.
Chase is a scholar. He's a historian, and a lot of the books behind us right now are Civil War history. So the Rebel Yell fits in with the motif of a lot of the books in his library. So wanted to make sure that those got to the right place, and I thought it was a good night to do it. So
I mean, I'm no scholar. I'm a graduate of Trident Technical Community College in Charleston, South Carolina.
Did you say Trident?
Trident Tech.
Like the
like
gum?
the gum.
Trident. No, like Poseidon.
Yeah.
Oh, a trident.
Right.
You can't say trident. You got to say trident. Like that's how you say that word.
Well, I might
Trident.
try that a little later.
Trident's the daggum gum. I love that Trident though.
Yeah, Trident gum is good. Yeah,
it's pretty
my
good.
grandmother
Pretty
always had it.
tasty.
Yeah. That threw me off the Trident. But I would argue, you say you're not a scholar. You have read more and consumed more knowledge than many people with even advanced degrees. So you're selling yourself short there a little bit there, bud. Now, Greeze, on the other hand.
I mean, I got my degree.
You could learn by like osmosis. I could give you a book and you can sleep on it, and it's science.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I could
back
sleep
in the
in
day.
your brain.
Well, you're close enough now. You might get a little bit.
This ain't close.
You want to get close?
If you think this is close, buddy. You haven't spooned with me recently.
So we're going to drink a little bit. We're going to talk about why we think having your own space to keep your hobby to some degree. I think that's a good way to also look at it, is why we think it's important. And Grease brought over, he's going to do the inaugural pour.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be a very sentimental episode.
This is pretty sentimental. So Chase and me and Will and some other people, the last pick that we picked together was this E.H. Taylor single barrel.
And this was for Southern Whiskey Society.
Yes.
This was this was the week before the pandemic. Like before everything shut down.
Oh, we picked it then. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was at Whiskey Weekend Batch 2, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. Whiskey Weekend Batch 2 is why we were there. Chase and Joshua and Chris Thomas and Cam and others were there on the pick as well. Was Dan there? Was Bearded Ram?
Dan was there.
Yeah. Casey Bright.
Yeah.
Cam was there. Casey Bright.
It was a really solid crew.
Oh, yeah. We had OFC.
Yes,
we did have OFC.
95?
94?
I think it was 94.
Oh,
it was incredible.
goodness.
The nose was insane. I felt like the palate or the finish fell too short for me.
But even then, like that was the very it was days before the 2 weeks to flatten the curve business, you know?
Uh-huh.
And even then it was like, hey, we brought a bunch of glasses in, and we didn't go do it in the normal picking warehouse. We did it in the master distiller's room, and they brought in like crates of clean glasses so we could all pour into. Like they were already kind of like, maybe we shouldn't all be drinking out of the same glass. I don't know. Like it was. I remember it was a different experience. I'm like, yeah, it's also
we saw
drink.
Jared from Boot Hill Blades that day.
Yeah, Jared and Kylie, they popped in.
Golly.
Why
does Kylie put up with that?
He's a good looking dude.
He's very
He makes
good-looking.
nice.
He's sassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a little sassy.
I don't know about that.
I don't think so, Grease.
But I just know you could
Pot calling kettle black over here.
now a straight bourbon whiskey and call it Flatten the Curve because it's aged 2 years.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So instead of 2 weeks, yeah. I like that
Straight
point.
bourbon whiskey's got to be 2 years,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah?
It's got to have
Yeah.
an age statement on it, though,
Yeah.
to be because if it
Are
doesn't
you
have the
saying
age statement,
straight isn't a curve? What are we talking about?
no, he's just saying at
Straight
this point,
bourbon whiskey
yeah, because
has to be at least 2 years, right?
right,
Yeah.
To get the label. It's been 2 years since we flattened the
yeah.
since 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
I understand.
So you could name it.
I'm glad you got it.
One
Yeah,
of
I
those
got it.
stickers.
Yeah.
I'm
Might as well.
I'm no math magician.
Chase, can we just keep this to like Kmart and scratch off lottery tickets?
I think
We're in a
some people's favorite Chase memory was because Chase has been on quite a few, especially the bar night episodes.
He'd lean in. And
He'd
say
lean in,
stuff.
and my favorite was Chase's tasting notes, of which he had like a notebook of pre-done like thoughts that he could offer. And one was, I think, like, this smells like a Patsy Cline song or something like that.
Well, we know Willie Nelson wrote Crazy. So it's like a Willie Nelson song sung by Patsy Cline. Because it's crazy.
It's crazy.
That wasn't on no notebook.
That's you just keep that
That's
one
off
all
the top
up,
of the
up
dome.
there.
Top
Man.
of the dome.
Speaking of Casey Bright, this is one of his favorite pours.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really special opportunity to be able to pick an EH Taylor.
Do you know that I helped him bid for that in auction?
Yes, because the opportunity to come on the pick was auctioned off at the
Southern Whiskey
winter version.
Yes,
the winter edition, and he won that, right? Because he was like, I have to have it.
He did have to have it. I was over there monitoring it and being like, "What's going on? What's going on?" I was on the phone with him. I was like, "Hey, man,
that's really cool.
We're at $800. How do you feel about it?" He's like, "Man, I'll go to 11." Yeah. I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, that was cool that
he didn't
it was
have
able
to.
And that was for one gen away, I believe. The money was that Southern Whiskey Society would raise for, which is a local Franklin charity that helps people in that are food insecurity or hungry.
I'm thirsty.
I know, it's good. It's good whiskey.
It's real good whiskey.
You know, I still get on this, and on a lot of E.H. Taylor single barrels, I get a little bit of coconut.
Man, I'm getting juicy fruit gum.
Yeah, when you say coconut, I think it's that cooling note. Sometimes I call it mint, or but it's a cooling,
like a menthol.
Yeah, menthol. Yeah, it's a cooling.
I get Vicks.
Thing. Yeah, but coconut's probably the right
talking
word
about Newport menthols.
Man, I'm no smoker, but I appreciate big tobacco.
You're smoking. You're smoking hot though.
That is the greatest line ever.
I appreciate it.
I'm no smoker, but I appreciate big tobacco is arguably the greatest thing that's ever been said on this show.
How do you feel about Big Pharma?
Don't get me started.
Greeze is poking the bear tonight.
You'll get banned.
Yeah.
You'll be kicked off YouTube.
It's only on Rumble. This one's only on Rumble.
Yeah. So Chase,
Grease.
What's inspiration for your space? I didn't mean to make that rhyme. I'm sorry for everybody.
Inspiration for your space.
Yeah. Hey Chase, what's your inspiration for your space?
Oh man, that's a deep philosophical question.
Well, that's the point. I feel like this episode is a little bit philosophical because it's like there's a need for a space.
Well, because you got your nook.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the nook isn't like my hang space. So I've got
Greeze is completely defeating the purpose of this
but it's your very unique.
Well, no, I can't hang there. Like I can go there. I can shut those doors.
Yeah, but we hang in the basement when people are over, and the nook is open. It's like the bar.
Yes,
that is the bar.
100%.
Our countertop that we shoot the show behind becomes a bar.
Yeah, we wheel it out. And it becomes a bar. Yeah, for sure. No, it's a great, especially the bar with wheels and it comes on out. It's just a great kind of centerpiece for all that. But yeah, I mean, it's more just kind of the whole basement as a whole is just kind of the hang time for me. But I'm getting a hold of it. Lauren is letting me do some things.
The whole basement.
The whole
becoming yours.
Well, the main part.
Okay.
The part that matters.
Yeah.
There's a guest room down there. I don't have any say in that.
I feel like the guest room you could actually really go buck wild with. Put a mirror on the ceiling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You go full.
Get one of those chain swings.
Go full Graceland.
Just full
mirrors, gold, and
do the jungle room.
No, I don't want to do that.
Man,
I'm just going to let it be a regular guest room, guys. Okay. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not meeting fantasies right now, but I just want it just chill.
Yeah.
I just need people to sleep over, man. I love when people sleep over. All right. So you're inspiration.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it starts with books. My love of books. And if you're a bookman, it's kind of this like mix of being like a romantic at heart, being obsessed with like old English country homes and manners and traditions and blood memory of, a past gone era of hosting people, of Southern hospitality, of retiring to the parlor to share drinks and cigars and conversation. People like Russell Kirk or Roger Scruton or Donald Davison talks about the folk chain of memory being attached to something beyond yourself. And that's what books do. And that's what bourbon does also, because it lubricates
the conversation.
The conversation.
Yeah.
And the gears that keeps civilization, going.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to have my little slice of civilization here because we live in this like fast-paced LinkedIn feed, super hyper hustle world. And I'm not buying what they're selling. I like to slow down, and I like to be rooted in something that was here way before me and will be here after me. And that's where books come in. I'm not buying the you will own nothing and be happy. No, I'm going to own stuff so I can be rooted to my traditions and my past and my ancestors, and I might be able to pass that down, those stories, those memories, our history, and share great bourbon, whiskey, fine bourbon with fine people. Because also, this takes a long time. Bourbon, it all has history. It all has stories. It's not a microwave culture. It's not mass consumer culture. It's not, it takes time. It takes craftsmanship, which I appreciate. It's about beauty. It's about aesthetics. So many buzzwords.
Well, and I feel like the whole ritual behind drinking fine bourbon and everything as well is, we put it in a glass that's a little dainty looking to some degree, and you smell it, and you use all your senses, right? And you use sight. You look at it and you see how thick it is in the glass and the color and the aroma and all that, and having a space to complement that. I personally feel like is really important. I have a room that is nowhere near as magnificent as this, but that I would say is a hybrid between the Nook and this place. Where
it's a great room.
There's a lot of books. The furniture I selected with a purpose. The purpose of it is a place that you can go and you can reflect and you can have a conversation, and hopefully the aesthetic facilitates that. And this room definitely does. I mean, by far, you feel like you're saying, you feel rooted in something, transported to something. But
just listen how quiet it is in here.
It feels like you said, almost like a country manor that we've gone to a different place. It's a transportation of the conversation, and I feel like that is a lot of what we talk about with bourbon, with whiskey in general. Is there's tall tales. It's all about telling stories. It's all about being somewhere and being connected to the past. It's why we like something aged longer than 2 years, not just for the flavor, but how many times have we said when we've been sitting around drinking something that's either a vintage bottle or an ultra aged whiskey, and we're like, think about what happened in X year when, especially even some of those Armagnacs that we can get. I know you have the 1983, like the birth year it takes you back to like what was happening then. In some instances, it's like it was my inception itself is when this was distilled. But there's a lot of that the ritual and the aesthetic that goes along with whiskey very much begs for things like this. And without having to necessarily take it too seriously, you don't have to hype it up and put it on a pedestal, but it does warrant, a fine drink does warrant some appreciation, and not just drinking it with no purpose. And so I think that there is a lot of purpose when you have a space set aside where you keep your stuff, where you can take somebody and be like, hey, let's go pick out a drink. And there's something to that helps create memories and create social lubrication where you can end up having a deeper conversation, or just a BS conversation that makes for a good time and a good memory. That's why I think that it is important that you have some sort of ritual in your own bourbon experience or home experience where you can get away to it.
Yeah. So like, I think in the whole, thought process of slowing down, this room definitely slows us down. But I'm also like, in the whiskey world, like slowing down and enjoying whiskey is something that Will and I have always, clung on to. It's like, this is not about in 5 minutes, can I feel this, shooting it, whatever. We appreciate it. We love it. We love talking about it. And like, I think a space like this kind of just is conducive to that vision of like how we enjoy whiskey. It's not about, the Wellers. It's not about, big pours or anything like that.
It is about big tobacco specifically.
It is about big tobacco. But no, I mean, like you said, fine whiskey. Like that doesn't necessarily have to be those big brands or anything like that. Now we are drinking a big brand.
Yeah, this is a special pour.
This is a special
But there's,
pour.
that is part of also the process is I went into his office today and I said, hey, we're going over to Chase's. Let's think of something that would be super fun to pour, because there is something special about getting together with a friend and pouring something, and Greeze goes, I've got it. This is what it's going to be. And there's something tied to it. There's a memory that unlocks when it's like, oh yeah. And immediately you're like, we had the OFC and we remember all these things that go there, and
I just want the ham again.
Reminiscing in the room is fantastic.
With that Costco ham that
was a different time. Yeah.
That was a different time.
Right. They had it this year. And I was at Costco with Samantha, and we walked by it and I was like, oh man.
Lauren says no.
I go, have you seen this? And she's like, yeah, I know about this. It's fine. It's like cool. Like Joshua Steele had one time.
I bought one last year.
Kind of feel like you're a fancy Fred Flintstone when you walk out of there with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And she kind of had the same. She's like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, no, like, oh, okay, yeah. I probably could have pushed for it.
I bought it because like the ham holders.
Yeah.
Like if I could, because I could have gone and gotten like a Benton's ham, right? Like it'd be like top notch.
Yeah.
Top notch ham.
Yeah.
But I didn't have like the holder for it. So I was looking online. I was like, well, the holders are like $100.
Yeah.
So I was like, or I could just get this Costco ham.
And you have the holder.
And the
knife. It comes with a knife too.
And the knife.
Do you think your ancestors had a ham holder? Or they just set it on the counter?
His ancestors definitely did not have a ham holder.
Like,
how far back are we talking?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, are we talking Fred Flintstone ancestors?
You could hang it from a hook if you want to be specific.
Oh, I would hook that in 2 seconds.
If it were hanging from the ceiling in the nook and you just walked by and sliced off.
Okay, I'm trying not to be sexually active right now.
Active.
Or just,
where are you going with this?
I don't know.
Chase and I are fine. We're not having that same issue.
It just sounds sexual. But no, but the funny thing is that block and the block broke before I could even finish the ham.
Oh, at your house?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so like the whole reason I bought it, it's fine.
Yeah.
They put a crappy one in there.
I watched a Benton's the True South that they do on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Wright Thompson's executive producer, and John T. Edge is like the host of it. But they went to Alan Benton's place I watched it the other night in Madisonville, Tennessee. And it was pretty fascinating.
Yeah, there's a ham trail. I'm all about taking the ham trail.
Oh, I'm there with you, man. Let's
do a ham trail.
I would do the ham trail.
Yes.
Just do it.
I will. I just had some deer sausage today. It's incredible.
Is it Jay Hawley's?
No.
Okay, because his was great.
Yes, his was great. This is better.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't tell him I said that.
He didn't make it.
Oh, okay.
He took his deer to the processing place, and they
made it.
What things do you want? And he said deer sausage is an item, and so he had it. That was good. All right, we've had this opening pour. And
pour.
We've talked a little bit about the spaces. I don't want to get.
I think everybody appreciates a good space.
Yeah, I don't want to be too sentimental because Greeze will get upset.
Right.
But
everybody appreciates a good space. The biggest thing that sticks out for me is that this feels cozy and it's quiet.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fun thing. He's got like an old record player over there.
I mean, it's just stuff you'll remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember going over to Chase's apartment last time. It's when we got to, I can say it now. Double Eagle, very rare.
I wasn't there.
He went, oh yeah,
we had it at Barrel Proof.
I was sick. I think I had the flu or something.
You were sick. Oh
yeah.
I keep forgetting. I don't mean to bring this up, but
Jen and I, my wife, we'll look around our house. We'll just be sitting there and just be like, I can't believe we lived in that apartment. It was a nice apartment, but it just felt so dark and just, just claustrophobic. And we're sitting here and we just feel blessed. And
Yeah,
just like, and
it was not
we
this.
had like 30 people in that little place.
Yeah.
Sharing all kinds of bottles.
There are so
I
many.
showed up with 30 cheeseburgers from
It was
McDonald's.
for Southern Whiskey Society. And I actually ended up with more bottles at the end of the night than I had because people just brought so many bottles.
I don't think that was Southern Whiskey Society when you had Double Eagle Very Rare. It was a different time.
It was a different time.
Yeah,
it
because
was Southern Whiskey
it was-
Society.
No, you said it was for Southern Whiskey Society. It was a different time.
Oh, no, I didn't.
No, I was just thinking about
yeah.
the time at my apartment when we had everybody over there drinking. But,
Right.
It could have been a couple of times. I don't know.
There's two things I remember about that. Three things. One, Chase was in charge of the playlist, and it was
that's a given.
It was on point. Two, we had Double Eagle Very Rare at cask strength in a 200 milliliter bottle, and it was real good.
Still might have the sample bottle over there.
I don't think there was any in it, was there?
No,
it's
my little infinity bottle now because I did. We finished that, and then that might have been that crazy rye we had too. But
oh yeah,
that was all my BTAC blend.
The third thing I remember from that night is Dan just.
Oh yeah, that was my first. Yeah, that was for my birthday.
No, that was a different time. That was not. That's what I'm saying. That's
was my
not the
first
same.
apartment
That's
before I
not
was
the
married.
same
Yeah.
time.
You were there when Dan just disappeared?
Yes, that was not the same time as the Double Eagle Very Rare. You're conflating a couple different nights, which is
Okay.
easy to do because typically at Chase's apartments,
We've had
a
some
lot of
good
people
nights.
ended
Run all
up-
together.
Yeah, but those are two different times because I was there when you arrived with the cheeseburgers and when Dan left, same night.
Same night.
That was your birthday.
It was like Krispy Kreme and Crystals.
No, it was just McDonald's cheeseburgers.
Yeah, he showed up with McDonald's. He has shown up one time at your place. This was when he was not there. This was a Southern Whiskey Society, like one of the first ones with a bunch of people from out of town came. Like I think Ian Campbell was there.
Yep.
And that was at, all I know is that we Uber Eats a bunch of Crystal Burgers that night. And the guy showed up and was like, what is going on in here? Like he thought that everyone was just stoned, obviously, because we ordered a bunch of Crystal Burgers. And, but it was fun. And I have so many people that bring up that night that traveled that they were like, the night at Chase's is one of the best nights I've ever had.
Yeah.
And what's
I
funny,
remember that. I mean, I remember people saying that. I think it was the night before Southern Whiskey
It was,
Society.
correct. Yeah, it was the Friday night.
That same week, we had like a maintenance guy that had to come in because, apartment, they had to come in and do something. And he was kind of looking at my shelf that I had with all my whiskey on it. And he was looking at it. And he said, you don't got any Woodford. And I just smiled. I just looked at Jenna and I just smiled.
You should have been like, the last maintenance guy took it.
I was like, if I had some, you could have it.
Yeah, but the funny thing about Dan was, I was like, where's Dan?
Hey, we can't be just
like-
divulging all the secrets.
All Dan's secrets.
No, but Cam's like, he's fine. And I'm just like, wait a second. Like, is this a thing? And then his wife
definitely is.
And then I talked to his wife, and she was like, "Oh Lord, yes. Like he'll be drinking, and then he'll just end up by the river at the house.
Yeah.
and
the
he'll
creek
just
story is infamous.
he'll take a nap down by the creek.
Yeah.
What's great is the river's right behind me.
Yeah. Chase is going to go hop and take a nap down there.
The old river bluffs.
Harpeth. Harpeth's right there.
River.
The river.
Yeah.
That's the Harpeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other rivers in Franklin?
Well, I live in Stream Valley. I mean, that's a stream.
Where is there a stream in Stream Valley?
It's behind my house.
It's fake.
There's one. There's a stream. Real stream. What's a stream?
Is it when it rains? This like the water.
There's
goes
runoff?
down?
Well, there's a creek,
drainage
and then
ditch.
there's a
Got the sewer.
what's the creek, and then there's a stream, and then there's a river, and there's
Which one you got?
I have a stream.
Oh, okay.
It comes together, though, and it becomes creek.
Neighborhoods are usually named after what they destroyed to build the neighborhoods.
Exactly.
And that's another reason why I appreciate my space. Yeah. Forest, something. Yeah, clear cut the whole forest to build a neighborhood.
My parents live in Woods Edge.
Or,
My parents live in Woods Edge, which is exactly what they created, the edge of the woods. They tore it down. Neighborhood.
And that's another reason to create a space is just to cut out like the cookie cutter, because everything just looks the same. So like create something with your stamp on it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's also a lot more affordable than doing a full custom home, right?
Well, yeah. There's a reason why I did 98.7% of the work myself. And it took me about 9 months because it was during everything shut down, lumber shortage, then lumber prices went up. And it was just like, oh my goodness. So a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time.
And it took forever to get furniture as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Almost 2 years. You order something, 2 years later, it might show up.
Dude, these chairs are baller. Chase wouldn't let me sit in one.
Well, you can't even see. You can't even see my Chesterfield.
I know that's. I was more excited. I wanted us all to snuggle on the couch, but Greeze had different ideas.
I sat in and
He's
just felt like
cinematographer.
Felt like you were laying down almost.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
He didn't want to feel like a gentleman.
Well.
All right, let's pour something else up.
I think it's time for some wild turkey.
Yeah, because you got a cool story about this.
Yeah. So I'll grab it. You talk about it.
So, when was this? November, October. I'm guessing it was October
of 22.
Yeah, 2022. The wife and I went to Italy for about a week or so. And so I'm a bourbon guy. So I'm looking for bourbon in Italy. It's not known for its spirits or its, whiskey or whatnot. So we're in Milan. There's really no whiskey there. And then we're in Geneva. And I'm Googling, and it's like Neat Whiskey Bar pops up on the Google Maps.
Mm-hmm. It's like, it sounds promising.
It's like, yeah, I'm going to freaking Neat Whiskey Bar. We go there one night, nothing. There's no sign, no nothing. It's not open. Google Maps says it's open. It's like, well, I guess it's not open. Guess it's not here. This happens a lot in Italy.
Oh, no.
They don't really follow like normal business hours. I mean, it's their culture. I respect it.
Yeah.
Do what you do. I try the next night. Oh, this little bourbon barrel's outside this little place. It's open. They got tables out. It's open. Let's go in. I go in, look at their selection. Oh, they got a Woodford batch proof. I was like, I just had that. It's all right. A lot of Jack Daniels.
Anything that you haven't seen before in Jack Daniels?
No, they had the new bonded stuff. Like some of the new things. I was actually surprised to see the very new things. So that's the whiskey bar. It's like not much whiskey, but me and my buddy Alan, who I was there with, we're like, well, we got to hit all the spots. It's like they don't really have. They have liquor stores. Like you can't just like pull up liquor stores and go because. It's just different. They have all these little corner stores, basically. I call them corner stores. They have a bunch of, little stuff here, little stuff there. We find this one. Everything in the shop is dusty, like literally dusty. So we're looking. Oh, we see a Jim Beam. It's like, how many you got of those? Alan, he bought all those. Then we see this wild turkey. I'm like, jackpot. Don't know when it's from. Austin Nichols Wild Turkey. Like, I'm Google searching. I'm doing all the things.
It smells.
I cannot find because all the bottles I saw posted were just like a little bit different, different every year. But it was $70 and it had been on the shelf for 30 years.
Jeez.
So we find out. So I bought one. Alan bought a few. We get back. He lives in Lexington. He goes over to Justin's. They're expert in these things.
Right.
It's like, oh, this is from 1993. It goes for this crazy amount of money. It's like, well, I don't sell things. I drink things. So
that's what we got in our
pop it open.
So we got okay, well,
and then
we're drinking very nice pours tonight, which
Yeah.
we should be.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
right.
a special occasion. I mean, it smells like turkey, but it smells like just champagne of turkey.
And I love it's glass bottle. It's not decanter turkey.
Yep.
yeah, and I couldn't tell you like the history of, it's got the Italy import tax strip on it,
Right.
From Genova.
70 centiliters.
I can't tell you like who was the master distiller at that time.
Sure.
Like I don't know that history.
Russell.
His last name was Russell.
It's
but-
probably Jimmy. That in the 90s, early 90s.
But I'm guessing that was probably during that they were probably still like, struggling at that time, the whiskey industry here. People were still drinking vodka and Zimas and wine coolers,
Right.
stuff like that.
Grease is still throwing that Jolly Rancher in the Zima.
Dude, the 90s were very Zimas.
Yeah.
I miss
Very.
the 90s.
The 90s were great.
I watched.
How do y'all feel about that 90s show? Instead of that 70s show.
I didn't watch it, but I like the concept.
I like 1923.
Oh, see, I haven't watched that yet.
Oh,
We're caught up on Yellowstone on the.
you watch 1883?
I haven't watched it either.
Oh, yeah.
It was good though, right? 1883.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I've heard good things. We need to get into that, but I mean, I love the obviously the Cornerstone series of it, the just regular Yellowstone. But
How is that guy in business if that sat on the shelf for 30 years?
Everything in there had been on the shelf forever. Like it's not a whiskey place. Like going back to this bar, like there's only one whiskey bar and all of it, like in the parts of Italy, we were in northern Italy. So I go into this neat whiskey bar, and we actually had the Southern Whiskey Society Leaper's Fort pick with us. And so like I buy a Michter's 10, pour, and he was actually telling me how the most expensive thing he had that he's not even going to open was a Jefferson's Ocean because it cost so much for them. He's like, I'm just waiting for some tourist to come and buy the whole bottle. But this guy might have been, Italian family affiliated.
Washing
what you're saying
money
is that
situation?
Definitely didn't need the revenue of people popping in.
As soon as I share bottles, because I just happen to have a bottle because we're doing bottle share at dinner and whatnot, and I pour him, he was like, you come into my bar and you pour me whiskey? He's like, nobody has ever done this. And he just started pouring me everything he had on the shelf. Then the world started spinning. But it is something
He
that
poured
I
you
will
everything
never
on
forget.
the shelf except for the Jefferson's Ocean, of course.
Oh yeah, he ain't
I
cracking
can't
that.
imagine being Italy in that.
I flew over the ocean that Jefferson's aged on.
I love that. That is the most pure expression of like whiskey community of like walking in and be like, I'm gonna pour this for you, and like all of a sudden you're best friends and just sit around and are he's pouring you more whiskey and you have a little bit too much. It sounds a lot like a night in your apartment.
And what is that? Like, what's the proof on that? 86.8 proof?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The flavor on that
It's just stupid.
for 86.8 proof.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like there's any water in it.
No. It has a lot of really delightful flavorings.
Like you got-
That's where you landed. You had that long, and that's where you landed on the verbiage.
No, I was giving you a second to move your mic.
Oh, thank you.
It has a lot of robust flavor for something that's 86 proof.
I agree with that.
I mean, you can taste oak on it.
Oh,
Like-
for sure.
There's oak.
It's probably
There's
still
a
7 or 8 years
tinge-
old.
There's
maybe even older, the whiskey that's in there.
there's a tinge of funk in a
Yeah.
great way.
Yeah, it doesn't taste overly musty. But it's got a little bit of something to it.
And that might be because it's been open for a little bit. That air is kind of getting to it and breaking it down a little bit. Dude, this just reminds me of
great.
like
English Manor
Dr.
House.
Pepper notes.
Yeah, and
It's got
for
that cola S.
for the 83 proof, I feel like there is a bit of a creaminess to the mouthfeel, even though it's not super
I could drink this for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I mean,
and be happy.
That's a desert island pour.
And that goes back to, it's like this bottle, I will only drink with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I will never drink this bottle alone because I found it with Alan, who's a great guy. You know, so I found it in community.
Alan, who listens to the podcast on the occasion.
Oh yeah, he's
Alan does?
Yeah.
great guy.
He's a good
Alan,
dude.
you're great.
Yeah.
He's a great writer.
He is great, right?
Yeah, he's great.
He is a great writer.
That's not what I heard.
He's a scholar. He's a scholar and a gentleman.
Yeah.
A Kentucky gentleman. Old school.
Is he up there in Lexington?
Yeah, up in horse country.
He said that.
I know. I just
Oh man! Speaking of, I thought this would be something we could try. No, never mind. My bag's over there. I can't reach it.
No, it's fine. We've got something we got to do for the 15. It's almost about that time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can hit that.
So Chase has a bottle of just regular seagrass.
Yeah,
now,
we've never done it on the show.
We've never done the regular seagrass. We've only done the gold one.
Yeah, because Preston Adcock sent us a sample from the Murfreesboro Club.
Yep, exactly. And shout out to them again, by the way. So we seem rather pretentious. So I feel like we need to come down to the regular seagrass.
I love that you're
level.
saying like we need to come down to the regular seagrass. It's still like an $80 bottle.
It's still. I know that's the joke, Will.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Kick
fair.
his ass, seagrass.
All right.
It's not really seagrass, though. It's sea bass.
Oh, you're right.
Is that part of the joke?
Yes, called a pun or something like that.
Yeah, that's punny.
I think so.
That's punny.
It's pun adjacent.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the 15th so that we can pour this thing up and talk about it.
Yeah. Hit the music. You're so pissed.
I'm so pissed.
What are you pissed about?
Because he's the one that says he's the one that says hit the music. I've done that.
Hold up. We gotta switch glasses.
Yeah.
Cause it's just so different.
Yeah, because
I want everything to meld with this wild turkey.
that's fine. I would take a new glass.
Just a skosh.
Yeah.
It's scotch. You're the one that says skosh.
Just a skosh.
And we're back from the 15.
Some say we never left, Will.
Yeah, I wish you'd leave. You left for a minute.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my heart.
All right. So what we're drinking the Barrell Seagrass. And
Also known as peasant pour.
yeah, Greeze calls it peasant pour because of what we've had tonight. This one's only $90, which technically I think the single barrel E.H. Taylor is a cheaper pour.
I mean, wild turkey was $70.
Oh, that's true too. But if you add in the airfare and opportunity costs,
And if you add in the blood, sweat, and tears for this one while we picked it,
all right,
it was a hard thing to do, picking that whiskey.
It was so hard tasting all
All
those.
three of them that we had. Y'all remember that?
there were 4 barrels.
There were 4 barrels, but all of them were fabulous.
I think
Yeah.
they're all similar too, because it wasn't like the Eagle Rare.
were.
It wasn't like the Eagle Rare pick, because that Eagle Rare pick we did with the Special Forces group, it was like, this is the one, clear winner.
Yeah.
It was unanimous.
Still one of the best things
With like
I've ever
15
tasted.
of us
Yeah.
there, it was unanimous.
This one was like, okay, they were all like in the pocket.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
Susanna
Is that what they
was
say?
like, Susanna was like, okay, guys, we're going to knock this from 4 down to 2
On the Eagle Rare pick.
on the Eagle Rare pick. And everybody was like, all right, who wants number 1? Nobody raised their hands. Who wants number 2? And I think that was it. And literally 15 of us raised our hands. She was like, I've never seen that. From going from 4 to just 1 unanimously with that many people.
So this is Barrell Seagrass. It's rye whiskey finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels. It's been highly celebrated and loved by many. We've just never talked about it on the show. Chase is a big fan of it, so we decided why not do this as the 15. It's an appropriate.
It's one of the more unique pours that we've been able to have. Just period.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I don't drink a bunch of different whiskeys, but it's definitely unique.
Yeah. I'd say probably the most unique is our Red X pick with Oak and Thieves. That one is bizarre.
Yeah, but that's a single malt.
Yeah.
This is a rye whiskey finished.
You get that Hawaiian tropic suntan lotion like coconut.
Oh, this totally smells like you're on a beach.
Spring break.
Seagrass is the best name for this
PCB, baby.
because it does have a very tropical Sharkies. Senior Frogs.
Alabama.
Club La Vila. I get a little Club La Vila.
La
on there.
Vila.
Oh my gosh. Club La Vila.
Can't beat it.
I need to go. I'm near Panama City Beach a bunch
Well, yeah.
because of Mexico Beach House.
Right. I fly into Panama City Beach a bunch.
I bet you do.
PCB, baby.
PCB, baby.
You're talking about the 90s. PCB in the 90s, that's
Different
Oh,
world.
dude,
that's peak spring break.
that was gas, man. That's what the kids are saying.
I don't even know what that means.
You don't even know
they're
any
trying
kids.
to ban gas stoves.
I saw that.
Can't
they
even
say
just
gas,
gas
for cool.
on here.
It's cool,
Not
man.
for it.
They're going, can't be saying that.
That's the same drip for clothes.
I do love how. I mean, this is completely off topic, but the whole gas stove thing, it's like everyone's is outraged by them trying to like rate. But how many then people immediately they're like in the administration that happens to be putting forth potential regulations and propose it's like Twitter photos of them cooking on gas stoves.
Oh yeah, they got those fancy
great.
stoves with the red colored knobs. I forget what the brand is, but you see those colored knobs. It's like, yeah, you paid a bunch of money for that stove. You ain't never cooked on it because you're rich enough to have somebody else to cook for you.
Yeah, yeah. My knobs aren't red. They're fine. Great. I knew that was going to
There's a pill for that.
Guys, I want you to envision this poor blind.
My favorite thing is you said envision it blind.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
How does a blind person?
So we're at barn night, right? Let's pretend we're at barn night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this pour is blind.
Right.
I'm going to be straight up with you. It's unique enough. I'd be like, this pour is something special.
This pour slaps.
It slaps. It's gas, man.
Yeah, because I liken it to because I love Midwinter's Night Dram.
Yeah.
That's like the oatmeal cream pie. That's like I love that pour, but recently I haven't been able to get it.
Sure.
This is as unique, but a different flavor profile.
It's the summer version of it.
Yeah, but it's as unique. Yeah, because Midwinter's Night is Christmas in a glass.
Mm-hmm.
This
Summer in a glass.
it's PCB.
Yeah. PCB in a glass.
The only thing on it, you're not getting a lot of age, but you're also not getting young. It doesn't taste young. But
well, I see this
And
one.
the
I
color
think
is very light.
the barrel influence you're getting on this are the finishing barrels. They're not trying to get you to get just straight new charred oak
right
impression. So even if it's there, it's masked by the Martinique rum, the Madeira, and the apricot. I've had rye finished in Madeira quite a bit, and I think I almost would venture to say that like the Madeira, they could have probably left off, because the Martinique rum and the apricot are so prevalent.
Oh yeah, you get those. Speaking of, have you ever had Madeira?
Just as itself, it's a fortified wine, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had it.
So there's port and there's Madeira. So Madeira is like fortified wine from Portugal.
No, port's from Portugal.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They put Madeira in sex with an alligator.
No, it's all right.
But
Do you hear me?
Do they really?
They sure do.
No, they do not.
you can go to Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's home, and order. You can drink Madeira from his cellar that he had.
How much does that run you?
I don't know.
He almost went bankrupt with how much booze he bought. Straight up.
Oh, he hated. He hated that people drank whiskey. Like he hated quote unquote spirits. But boy, did he love some Madeira. Like him
and French wine.
Oh yeah, him and the Georgia family, the Wimberley Durins, the Wormslow plantation down in Georgia. They have a famous library. That's how I know about them. But they also had just like crazy Madeira. So these old Southern families, they were just big into Madeira. And now I'm just like, man, I might want to get a Madeira. And then I Googled Madeira, and I'm like looking at those prices, like $27,000. I was like, nope.
No, they got new Madeira though, right?
Yeah. You can buy it. So like, and I talked to a guy. I was like, hey, if you want to get a Madeira, what I do? He was like, oh yeah, there's like they got age statements, 10-year, 12-year. It's like there's a certain series that he recommended, or like, go get the 12-year. And I went to some of the stores around here, and it's like they might have one by like I'm pretty sure there's
not
some
a huge
store,
selection.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some store here, like somewhere in Middle Tennessee, that has like a good Madeira selection. Like, because I'm just curious.
I wonder if a place like Woodland Wine Merchant that specializes in more, or there's a place off of Murphy Road headed towards like Sylvan Park. I forget the name of the store, but it's a very Grand Cru.
Oh yeah, you got to go to the Old Money's.
Yeah, places like that. Maybe a place out in Belmead would maybe have some Madeira selection, more than one bottle.
Oh yeah.
Greeze, I don't think they put Madeira. I think you're thinking of something else. I do not think it's Madeira that's in Sex with an Alligator.
I'm pretty sure. What's the
I don't
green
even know
stuff?
what you're talking
Chartreuse.
No, not chartreuse. It's not chartreuse. What's it?
Madeira is not green.
Well, I'm sitting here trying to think of what it is.
Green apple schnapps.
No, is Madeira, is it kind of like syrupy?
Yeah, because it's like a fortified, like port.
Yeah.
Fortified wine.
I think it's probably cheap Madeira.
No, see, I don't think most bars even have Madeira.
I mean,
so much so that I don't think anyone at a bar that's making a shot called Sex with an Alligator is like, you know what?
I've never been to a place that even would know what this is.
And I've been to plenty of places that know what Sex with an Alligator is.
Well, I don't visit
PM, man, across from
the Floribama line that often. But, I mean, that's where a lot of my family's from, Escambia County, down there. But
now all I want is Sex with an Alligator. They were good.
You have your phone in your lap?
I want that.
Look it up and see what the recipe is.
I just looked it up. Madeira is actually from Portugal. It's from the Madeira area.
Different region.
So it's kind of like Armagnac, Cognac situation there.
Same concept.
Yeah.
Like Cognac and Armagnac are both brandies.
It's sparkling wines and champagne.
Right. Or a Cremant and Champagne.
Yeah.
Like that,
yeah. All right.
5-bar pass.
Ultimate question. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Let's just say it's $90.
Yeah, I think it's $80 to $90.
I mean, this is my second or third bottle.
You're like, I know the price.
So I would say buy because I like it, but I would bar it because it is so different.
Yeah, I could see it being something that you could be very surprised by. It does have a lot of the rum influence. It does, like you said, it's almost like the summer version of Midwinter Night's Dram. It's not the spice and the seasonal flavors of winter. It is very much a rye that is seasonally appropriate for warmer months. I feel like it's 120 proof, by the way, and does not drink.
Oh, that does not drink.
Doesn't drink 120 at all.
No,
boy, yeah.
You could drink this outside in the summer.
That E.H. Taylor tastes hotter than this.
I agree with that. And that's partially to the mellowing process that hitting those different barrels, I think, helps soften the edges, but it's still got...
I mean, apricot's soft fruit, so...
I'm a double buy on this.
Double buy? That's not even in our entire lexicon.
Well, it's like when I'm like, buy 2 of them.
Yeah, you're just switching it up.
If you like rye,
it's called being
and if your palate is, diverse enough, this thing on the palate is fireworks. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really good. If you like rye, then I think you're going to love this.
I agree
If you don't like rye, this is going to be too far off the path for you.
If the words rye and rum, and we're not talking Cruzan, we're talking about like actual nice rum. Like if those aren't your things, then probably stay away.
Right.
But if you're interested in
I'd still
very
say bar
unique.
Yeah, just to try.
At very
you gotta try.
least bar. But for most people that are listening to the podcast, and it's not like we're offering anything novel here. A lot of people like this. So, but I mean, I think buy is an easy conclusion to jump to.
Yeah, because I saw it on the shelves and I'm like this might be the first barrel product I've ever bought.
Yeah.
But my brother, Joshua, he said, you need to buy this.
You know, here's the other thing too, is that here is someone who would not like this. Obviously, our first love is bourbon, which is a sweeter liquor within the whiskey world because it's so corn forward. Rye in and of itself is thought of as being less sweet. It's more spice forward. If you like ryes because you don't like sweeter whiskeys, you wouldn't like this. This is not, you're not looking for.
This feels very Werther's Original in your mouth, like kind of thicker.
The people I know who weren't a fan of this are because they really don't like sweet whiskey. And the rum and apricot give it a very palpable sweetness. Mm-hmm. I happen to like it. I'm a bourbon guy. My whole thing is I like corn whiskey. So I think that would be my caveat, is that if you know you don't like sweet whiskey, then you probably should pass.
Or if you hate apricots.
Yeah, because you get the apricot aroma to it. Yeah, for sure. Aroma and palate, for sure.
I love how it coats your mouth. Mm-hmm. It's thick. It's nice. It's good. You know, it's in the pocket as far as age, in my opinion. Now, your rye whiskey, it's gonna develop quicker in the barrel, and then they finish it. So, I mean, this stuff's, gonna age appropriately. We think it's 6 years it turns into candy. I don't know what the year of this rye whiskey is, or like what they've got in there. I don't see it on the back here, but
I mean, they don't have an age statement on it, I don't think.
Let me tell you, because I didn't get to try the $500 bottle of it. What's the difference? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, so
not the complexity. I don't remember being this loud.
It's definitely the age. The whiskey they put in there was significantly older.
Got it.
And so it was.
I love it.
I think the oak influence on that whiskey knocked down some of the finishing flavors. But I would say if you're looking at the difference between the two bottles, I don't know that it is such a stark difference that you're like, I've got to spend 5 times the money.
Uh-huh.
It was a really cool experience.
It was.
And I'm probably the first one to admit, too, that dollar value has a very real placebo effect when drinking something really expensive, right? Like, if someone's like, I'm pouring you a $500 retail price bottle, you're going to be like,
oh, wow.
Pretty cool. It's like there is something inherently cool about that. That doesn't mean I'm saying you should go out and buy a $500 bottle all the time, but I mean, sometimes you need to. Sometimes you just got to get that off your chest.
I've never seen it. What's crazy?
Sometimes you just need to get paid.
I've never bought a really expensive bottle, but I've bought really expensive pours.
Oh, yeah.
When I went to Multnomah Whiskey Library in Portland.
Well, yeah,
I might have bought a $200 or $300 pour.
You've been to some very unique, special whiskey bars. You've been to like the top whiskey bars in the country.
I'm going to Jack Rose in
I love Jack
2 or
Rose.
3 weeks. I've never been there.
I love Jack Rose.
I'm going there at the first week of February.
You can drop some coin there.
Well,
there's a ton of older stuff that's still cool. That's like,
well, here's the thing.
$20 an ounce.
That was also a long time ago,
pre-pandemic.
Yeah, they sold
pre-pandemic. They did. Now I know they still have a really good stuff, but in order to stay afloat and to pay their employees, they like liquidated their stock. So I don't know. That was also when I went and I was saying they had those things. That was before also that there was a huge surge in pricing across the board for whiskey. Mm-hmm. I will say they still do have really cool things. It's also not that crazy expensive because our buddy Tim Gunderman, when I was there all those years ago, he called that the famous story. He called the bar and had a pour of the E.H. Taylor Tornado sent down to me. And at the time, I mean, now that would be unbelievable. Like how much that money, I mean, it was unbelievable then, but that was still not the most absurd thing in the world because of pricing was completely different. But it was a very special, unique, one of the top 5 memories I have of this podcast world that we've been in. And he was in DC for work a few months back, and I called Jack Rose and returned the favor and called and said, and I just gave the guy a budget because their menu, things they had on their online menu that said updated like the day before was not even close to accurate. And I was like talking to the guy, he's like, no, that's not. I don't know why that says that's on there, like things like that. So I just gave him here's just the budget. Just get something that hits this that you think would be really cool. Take it to my friend Tim. And I tried to describe Tim, which was hilarious because I got it completely wrong. You see, he's probably dressed like this, and he had like a hat on that night. I was like, he's got a man bun. And anyhow, he went down, he finally found Tim and gave him the pour and said, this is from Will, he's returning the favor. And so, but all that to say is like the shift in what I knew the prices were then, and then looking at it then, it was starkly different because that was 2017, 2018.
You remember what happens when you order makers at Jack Rose, though?
Oh, yeah. You go down to the layer beneath the thing, and there's sharks. I remember. I thought it was sharks.
There's lions,
Oh, my.
Yeah. But you're going to enjoy it. We're probably going to have to be on the phone.
Oh,
like
yeah. I'm
that
looking
entire
for. I might be texting. It was like sending pictures of the menu because I have no knowledge of like Dusty's at all. Because I've never shopped secondary. I've never looked at that. I buy secondary books, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I would just try to find some Stitzel. I mean, I'd pay a lot of money for a Stitzel.
You've had Stitzel Weller stuff.
Well,
though.
yeah, like I had like I think at Multnomah I had like a 08 or 09 George T. That's probably one of the most expensive things I've purchased.
You know what I did at Jack Rose is and this is more up your alley, is I found a pour on the menu that when the age range of it was historically significant. So the oldest one I got, and it was actually, it wasn't at the time, it was only like a $50 ounce, and that's the good thing too, is like go for the ounces so you can have more.
Oh yeah.
But it was like a $50 ounce, and which now would probably be like a $200 ounce, but it was a Dowling Deluxe. I think it was like 6 or 8 year age stated, bottled in bond, so 100 proof whiskey. And it was distilled right before World War II, before America entered World War II. And then, or maybe even before the outbreak of it. And then it was bottled after. So in my mind, I'd have to go back and check exactly which one, but in my mind,
it survived the war.
The cool thing of it was that it spent its entire time in a barrel aging during World War II.
Oh yeah.
And so there was being able to find something that I could
that's cool.
latch on to.
I don't give a rip about history, but that's cool.
It was 6 years. That's what it was. Yeah. And that's what stood out to me is that it was, I guess 38 to 46, I think was, or that would be 8 years. Whatever it was, there's an episode on it if you want to go back and check.
Kevin?
Yeah,
but whatever it was is that it spent its entire time in the barrel during World War II, and that it was like it survived World War II, but it was also knowing how much sacrifice like the liquor industry in and of itself had to do because of the Defense Production Act, things of that nature, where alcohol distillers had to be doing things for the country. So the fact that this was even probably more limited in its scope because of they weren't able to produce as much liquor during that time, it meant a lot. And that was half of the pleasure of it, was knowing that history that I could kind of tie to it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had much that old. I remember being in Charlotte last year and ordering some like '80s Blantons and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I don't keep track.
You had the
too much,
Crunkleton?
but
Is that where you went?
yeah, the Crunkleton. Yeah, it's a great bar. But let's get back to you. You like history. Where are you from?
Northeast Georgia.
Then you like history.
I do, man. Man, I remember something about like Sir Francis Drake and the Sea Dogs. Do you remember that?
Yeah, tell me about Sir Francis Drake.
I don't know, man. He took over a bunch of ships and stole a bunch of gold and
Greece
stuff.
just likes the concept of the Sea Dogs.
Oh, 100%.
I mean the piracy era of United States is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
The Barbary pirates and the Jefferson War against the pirates and
Do you
all
think
that.
we still have pirates?
Well, yeah. If you go around the Horn of Africa,
Right.
Oh, no, I meant like...
this is my boat now. I'm the captain.
I'm the captain now, right?
Yeah.
Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
Smalley Pirates.
Yeah.
Brutal.
But, I mean,
Brutal.
so supposedly,
That's a throwback. What was that from?
Sharks are brutal.
Brutal.
my 10th great grandfather was a pirate.
Oh,
I'm into that.
from the plane.
Yeah.
Bluebeard or something.
Bluebeard.
Yeah. North Carolina.
There was a pirate here in North Carolina?
It was his aunt's 10th
Well,
great
North
grandfather.
Carolina was a big.
Right.
I mean, all the coast. man.
Wherever there were major ports, there were pirates nearby.
Man. Can't let the
They would
French
just steal-
We can't just let the French ships just drop off stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man.
Freedom fries. Am I right?
Yeah. You ain't coming around here.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it.
Man, this is a blast, Chase. Thanks
This
for
is,
letting us
man.
come
Thank
over.
you for letting us come over and set up a bunch of lights and cameras and all this stuff and letting us enjoy your good whiskey. We appreciate you.
And your good space.
Yeah. Chase is a longtime friend. He's probably,
Space
we're
isn't
going on 6 years, right? Probably.
Space isn't even real.
Space.
Well, it's in a vacuum.
I meant this
so, yeah.
space. This space, not outer space. Clearly, when you have
I
a
don't
flat
believe- I
Earth,
don't
there's nowhere to
believe
go.
space.
Fake.
I don't believe in space.
Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Or dinosaurs.
Oh,
You're a-
dinosaurs are so fake.
You're a Hollow Earth fella?
Hollow Earth?
Yeah.
Or the
that?
turtle Earth thing. I don't know.
Turtle Earth? That's where we're on the back of a turtle?
Yeah.
I'm into that. I could buy it.
Is that a thing for real?
It's a thing, but
it is a thing. It's
I
not
mean,
a real thing.
have you read about Antarctica? Exactly.
Why would I? Number one,
Mr. Beast went there.
I don't care about Antarctica.
Well, that's how you
Two,
get into Hollow
there
Earth.
is no way I would ever read about
Is it even real? Because you can't even go there. So how's it real if you can't go there?
Why can't you go there?
Exactly.
This is what the episode should have been, the entire thing. Why did I try to make it like philosophical about spaces? I should have just said, Chase, just start saying things to Grease. Yeah. That's what people are.
So you for real, like you legit think that Antarctica is not real?
Does he legit
to
think
say?
it?
No, I'm saying for real. Like, where do you stand on Antarctica? I can't believe.
But can you stand? But can you stand on Antarctica?
I don't know.
Clearly not.
I have no idea. It's the tundra, right? They call it the tundra.
No, that's the
Green
Green
Bay.
Bay. Right. Yeah, that's
Green Bay?
Lambeau Field is the frozen
It
tundra.
ain't even green there.
So back to
Do they
Antarctica.
even have a bay?
Why can't you stand on Antarctica? Because it's ice.
Why is Greenland ice and Iceland,
Green. I learned that from the Mighty Ducks.
Iceland's like
Iceland
got
is
black.
very nice.
Iceland's got like black soil though. Like
Greenland is covered in ice, and Iceland is very nice. That's what
she
the
said.
lady said.
That's what she said. Hot too.
yeah,
dude.
great.
that was
Had a
dude.
crush on her.
Oh man.
that was like a big marketing campaign.
Yeah, it was legit, so that people would not go to Iceland.
I mean, nobody lived in.
Wait.
Greenland.
What? No, wait. Why? No, they would go to Iceland because it's very nice.
No, that's reality, is what she's saying. No, this was pre-Mighty Ducks. When they named them Greenland and Iceland, it was a legit psyop so that you wouldn't go to Iceland.
Because the Icelanders wanted to be left alone.
Because they're
It was
trying
the
to tell
CIA.
you, they're trying to tell you Antarctica is real and Atlantis is fake.
But I've seen it's in
Hang
the
on.
Bahamas. I've seen it.
Will just said that the CIA named Greenland and Iceland.
Who's to say? Might as well.
You can't even stand on Antarctica. My mind is blown. And 2, apparently all I have to do is be from Northeast Georgia and I like history.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this week on the podcast. Thank you so much for listening, Chase, thanks for having us over. If you want to support us, patreon.com/the podcast. And if you want to come to Whiskey Weekend, whiskeytainment.com. It will be here in Franklin, Tennessee. And I heard rumors that Chase is having every single person over to his house.
It's possible.
That's
I'm open for that.
Do it for this week on the podcast. We don't know Jack,
But we'll drink it at Chase's.